How's it going, YouTube? It's your boy Ron, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pikmin. In our first episode, we were introduced to the world of Pikmin as Captain Olimar. Unfortunately, we were struck by a meteor on our way home, crash landed on this mysterious planet, and to make matters worse, 30 of our ship parts have been scattered around this planet, and we have to do our best to get all of them so that way we can get back home. Doesn't make anything better because unfortunately for us, what makes matters worse is that we only have 30 days worth of our life support system to function, or else the unspeakable happens. So we are now on day 2 of our journey. We were able to discover the Forest of Hope, so we now go ahead and start to explore the region for the first time and see if we can hopefully recover many parts. There are a total of 8 here. Our goal, while technically we are able to get all of them, we just have to see if we can at least get the most of them. I do want to get at least half of them if possible. And day 2 is when we're really introduced to the beginning of the game. My dolphin has returned to the surface along with the Pikmin's onion. Being alone on this strange planet makes me somewhat uneasy, so I shall call the Pikmin out of the onion. All I need to do is stand in the light beneath the onion and press A. Alright, so we go ahead and pretty much do what he is, since this is still part of the learning curve, and take out all the Pikmin that we have. And as I was of course elaborating earlier, there are a total of 8 parts. I do want to see if I can get all of, not all of them, most of them. But of course, that's just part of our goal. So with the rest of the theme and how this goes, we pretty much have to set a goal for ourselves. We have to get as many parts as we can. We have to at least hopefully do it before 30. We can do it before 30, obviously. That's not going to be the issue. Just trying to do it as fast as possible is going to be our goal. I really don't want to take too long. Like the max I will want to try to go to is like 16 days. Just depends on how efficient I can be and also how lucky I can be. And really, we just have to make sure we do some proper planning, and we have to make sure we get pretty good while planning ahead of ourselves, because that's what's really going to make the difference when gathering many of the parts. Because the better we can plan out the days, the easier it'll be in future coming days when we get more resources, such as more Pikmin. Because there are still 2 more to discover, as you can see on these 2 hidden spots. But to not get too ahead of myself, let's go ahead and start harvesting more Pikmin. And we are introduced to some of our first enemies that we have not seen on day 1. Oh, let me not, no. Aww. Yeah, not a great way to start the show, is it? But that's the unfortunate thing with enemies, and the first ones we're seeing are the Red Dwarf Bulborbs. These are the baby forms of the Red Bulborb, which we will see in just a second as we approach one, which will be right over there, right in front of us. That is the adult, the Red Bulborb. They are nocturnal, so they will always be found sleeping. But the baby ones will always be found awake and pretty much roaming the area. They really don't move anywhere other than the spot they are already in. So as long as you can easily avoid them, you really don't have to worry about them. However, when you get awakened, the Red Bulborb though, they are able to track you down, and if they don't have any sight of you, they will of course just stop trying to spot you, and then we'll just go back to sleep. But as we saw earlier, the Red Bulborbs are pretty easy to take out, although I did not have a great start and already lost 1 Pikmin. That was not what I wanted. Part of the goal as well is to not lose that many Pikmin. It's definitely 100% possible to have a no Pikmin death run in this game. The unfortunate thing is though, that's not going to happen because we have 1 death. Better goal now is just to make sure it doesn't go that high. I want to say at least no more than like 25 deaths. I think that could be a good number, not too low and not like ridiculously high either. But of course, being the first Pikmin game, because for those who are aware and who are not aware, there are actually still 2 more main series installments. There is also a 3DS version that was released not too long ago as of the recording of this. But that's, depending on who you ask, that may not be considered part of the main series. So we're going to ignore that one and just say that there's 2 more. And of course, needless to say, I may also be planning on doing both of those in coming future. But we'll go ahead and start things chronologically and do this one first. So, don't you dare. Okay, good. Gonna go ahead and break this down. They're not near me, and probably you guys can see in the far distance there is actually an onion there, so it looks like more Pikmin, and the yellow indicates that they probably will be yellow Pikmin. But one step at a time, I'll let them handle that first. And we are introduced to one of the first parts again in this place. Why, it's the Eternal Field Dynamo. It has the unlimited energy supply. I won't have to worry about saving electricity anymore. This will make my fight for survival a bit easier. So he has an internal fuel dynamo. So apparently it's an unlimited light source. So he has not to worry about wasting energy. Kinda interesting how he has something like that. I mean, it's unlimited energy. That's a pretty interesting ship if he's able to have that. We're almost done with that. Let me grab those Pikmin that are still over there. Okay, so I see one part. Since it's pretty close and really close to the opening, I'm not gonna worry too much about that one. It's not exactly like priority at the moment. I want to grab at least my goal on day 2. I have played my fair share of this game, a good amount, to plan out my days pretty effectively. Part of the main goal is to just get at least about half of the area explored, and at least get as many ship parts as close as I can. But let me go ahead and attack this Bulborb. Now there are a couple ways of doing it, but my favorite is to rush. There we go. The effective rush knocks it down. And let's go ahead and see what we're introduced to. And well, we'll look at that. Looks like we're going to be introduced to, as soon as it sprouts, if it actually starts sprouting. There we go. We are introduced to the yellow Pikmin. The color is different, but it seems to be a Pikmin nonetheless. First glance suggests that this one has what, in some circles, could be considered very large ears. It looks like it may weigh less than others. In what other ways it might be different from the red Pikmin? No matter, they are obviously quite similar. So I shall call this one a Pikmin as well. So of course he calls this one a Pikmin as well, but of course just for simplicity's sake, we're just gonna, oh no, let's not do that. For simplicity's sake, we're just gonna call them of course yellow Pikmin. And yellow Pikmin serve quite a purpose in this game, maybe, depending on who you ask, maybe not the greatest purpose, but they do serve at least a purpose to make them at least a useful Pikmin. And that is, apart from their light character, as we saw, if I throw one, they can reach quite higher lengths, so that does give them an advantage over the other two, which is, I guess, what you would call their normal maximum height. But of course, I just want to harvest as many yellow as I can. And honestly, in Pikmin 1, and even in some of its sequential releases, it's still not considered one of the most highly valued Pikmin, if that's the right way to put it. They do have the purpose of course, those two aspects being able to be thrown, and one that I haven't mentioned yet is to carry bomb rocks. Those explosive rocks that you see over there. Let me just grab a few more Pikmin though. And let me go ahead and grab some more nutrients for the ship, so that way they can get more Pikmin. If I can throw one, there we go. Because in all honesty, we really don't need too many yellow Pikmin. Oh, let's see, interrupted. My clock has indicated the coming of noon. From now on, I must pay close attention to the sun meter on my monitor, and choose my actions accordingly. So it's the best for me to review my monitor's data. Alright, so of course it gives us a tutorial of pretty much the HUD for the game. Across the top of my monitor are the sun meter and day display. At the bottom of my space unit damage meter and my Pikmin gauges. From left, these numbers reflect Pikmin under my command, Pikmin on the field, and total Pikmin, including those in the onion. To adjust my monitor, I can press L to rotate the camera, R to zoom, and Z to change viewpoint. I can also press Y to view a detailed computer analysis. So of course, just more tutorial information, just to know a little bit more about the game, and just to, of course, add some reminder for some of the features we had learned on our first day. Dang, they all really wanted to help. And they're all starting to follow me now. Okay. Alright, let me just still grab only the yellow Pikmin because I'm still going to need them for the task that's coming up, which is going to be a big part of this day. I do want to at least try to grab a ship part. We did waste about half of the day, and we really haven't done too much special yet, so let me try to get started before I waste too much time. I really don't want to waste too much time on the first day, but let's see what we're introduced to here. Alright, and this is one of the things that make yellow Pikmin unique, is this characteristic to pick up bomb rocks. So the yellow Pikmin had picked up some particular stones. Why did they decide to grab them? This action seems to be instinctive to the yellow Pikmin. But just what are these strange glowing stones? Brightly glowing cracks cover them. Perhaps these cracks indicate that there's tremendous power locked away within. This merits further research. Alright, so instead of trying to knock those down, because that is not a viable choice, I'm gonna grab them and... oh, okay. Maybe let me grab the right one first. Right here. And let me throw all three. Okay. No, no! The glowing rocks the yellow Pikmin picked up seem to be explosive stones. Perhaps they know that these stones can be used as powerful weapons. The bomb rocks are dangerous. I must take care when using them. Oh my god, I can't get over that. Okay, but they should be able to blast open the stone walls that block the pathways. I may even be able to use them against some of the wild creatures. I must be vigilant. Pikmin I dismiss by pressing X to bring their bomb rocks when I call them back. Pikmin I throw by pressing A to drop their bombs when I call them back. Keep clear of the explosion, as we did not do. You know, something to keep in mind now for the rest of the time. When I touch Pikmin directly, they keep their bomb rocks and fall in line. Alright, so that would have been good to do. I was, of course, foolish enough not to do so. And, okay, see, this is why you actually should separate them instead of just trying to allow them to line up. Because you can do exactly what I did and just fail miserably right there. That is not what you want to do. So let me grab more of these bomb rocks. Alright, grab more, grab more, grab more. Alright, that's all they can grab. Alright, so I'm gonna let them hang here because I want the red Pikmin to come over here and knock over these red Dwarf Bulborbs. And as we see, there are some more enemies that we're seeing. Okay, so let me go ahead and... okay, I'm losing Pikmin. Okay, so maybe not the greatest idea to do that, but we're gonna ignore that for now. Okay, so the pink ones are the female shear grubs, and the male ones I believe are called the male shear grubs. And as you saw, they're underground burrowing bugs. Okay, go ahead. And really the distinctive difference between them, other than the coloring, is that the females do not have any kind of mouths to consume Pikmin. Alright, good. Oof. I thought I had that one close. Alright. And the male ones, of course, have the mouths, so that way they are able to consume Pikmin. So the male ones are, of course, going to be the dangerous one for us, and then the females are the ones that are pretty much harmless. They can't really do anything, so it's fine to just either ignore them or just not really have any kind of precaution against them. Need to grab the rest of these because I want to still get... wait, did I lose a Pikmin? I'm so confused. I'm gonna ignore that for now. I'm not gonna worry about that. Let me use the bomb rocks. I only need 3 more since there are distinctions between these stone walls. Alright. Alright, there we go. And then there's still more parts to get, so let me go ahead. I am starting to run out of time, so let me go ahead and grab the pick. Alright. I don't have the map. I need to figure out where the... I think the other 10 are still with the bomb rocks, so I'm gonna let that be. Let me go ahead and grab this ship part down, because I still want to get it... actually, okay. I'm getting ahead of my... not really getting ahead of myself. I should plan this a lot better. Okay, so the Pikmin AI is just not that great in this game. It could be a lot better, but that's pretty much the fault of this Pikmin. Alright, there we go. I only have 2 bomb rocks. Okay, so they're over there. I'm really gonna run out of time, and I'm really not gonna be able to pick up really anything. should have planned this a lot better, honestly, but that's okay. This art. Let me go ahead and get introduced to this part. It's the extraordinary bolt. I bought this incredible bolt because the salesman told me it is of extraordinary quality that is indescribable to the average person. Exactly what makes it so extraordinary is a secret, but just look at it. Extraordinary. What a great description for the extraordinary bolt. It doesn't really have a purpose, but hey, it's extraordinary, just like the great captain said. Okay, so really having a bad time collecting those. Let me go ahead and grab more of these things. In all honesty, I'm really not going to be able to do too much more after this. I can really only grab a couple more of the parts closer to us, and then we're probably still going to have to spend a couple more days gathering some more. Kind of wish that wasn't the case, but then I should have. Alright, let me go ahead and just destroy this. Just use the remaining bomb rocks I have. Oh, okay, good. They're not waking up this one. I'm so glad. I was kind of scared, but I'm gonna stop that one because it is gonna wake it up, because that's a pretty big piece. Alright, so I'm gonna let that be here. I'm gonna leave those there. I'm starting to run out of time. I guess that's my bad planning coming into effect. Alright. And for those wondering, yes, this is a different type of bud on top of the red Pikmin. We're so used to seeing the leaves, but as I explained, let me go ahead and let Olimar do some more explaining. My clock is indicating the approach of sunset. Pikmin waiting beneath the dolphin and onions will probably enter the onions on their own. But if I don't call the stragglers and add them to the group, they may not be able to get back. I am sure that Pikmin still planet are safe, but I am somewhat concerned about leaving Pikmin to fend for themselves in the darkness. That is true. That is the one thing you do not want to do, is leave Pikmin alone on themselves at night, because they will not have a good way of getting back to the onion, and you do not want to leave them lost and left behind. That is the one thing to avoid. As he said, as long as they're near the onion or under your command, should be perfectly fine, but still one thing to keep in mind. Let's see. Yeah, because as we see on the top, that I haven't explained too much yet, of course I'm explaining it now, is that on the top is the amount of time left during the day, and then of course as it progresses to the right, that just means it's getting closer to nighttime, and that we have to of course be careful, because at night this is dangerous. There really isn't much I can do in the next 5 seconds. I really didn't get as productive as I would have liked. I do have a couple parts nearby and some easier access clearance, so I think by the next day we should be able to grab at least 4 of the parts pretty successfully. I'll just say this is more of the planning day and grabbing many more Pikmin for what we're going to be needing for tomorrow. And of course the yellow Pikmin, even though their onion's all the way back there, they can make it back there safely. So that's not a big deal for us. Because unlike the first day, on the first cinematic of nighttime, this is what we're going to be seeing from now on. Yep, the Dwarf Bulborbs are pretty much nocturnal animals, so of course they sleep during the day and are more active at night, thus being why it is not a good idea to leave them behind. So 2 days since impact. It appears that many of my ship's parts have landed in this region. If I can't just recover the parts of my radar, I should be able to use my radar screen, how that would improve my chances. Then I'd only have to press Y to locate my parts. That is true, and that is actually one that we stumbled upon, but we haven't read. That it was actually one of the ones closer to the yellow onion, after we've broken down the steel wall, or the stone wall, is one of his radar to of course track down the parts. That is what we are definitely going to be getting tomorrow, because that is one thing we will have to access and get quickly, as it would help us very beneficially. Yet, there seem to be many hostile life forms here. If I am attacked and my spacesuit takes damage, I must return to the ship, stand in front of it, and press A to make suit repairs. As I explore, I must pay attention to my suit's damage meter in the bottom left corner of the screen. Yes, so what he's implying is that of course on the bottom left we saw that's his health meter, and of course if it plummets, that is essentially a game over for the day, meaning anything happening after is pretty much a wasted day. So that's why it's important to note that him getting damage taken is always good in mind to, of course, have his super repair. And looking at the charts, we did gain 57 Pikmin. We lost 4. 2 of them were to the male shear grubs. No, 1 of them was for the male shear grubs. 1 of them... No, I had it right, yeah. 2 was for the male shear grubs. 1 was for the Bulborb on our first attack. Did not do that properly. And, of course, 1 yellow Pikmin blew himself up because I'm just not that great at this game. So we have a total of 82, and we've lost 4. Excuse me, we have a total of 73, and we have lost 4. Hopefully, I'm going to not leave any behind. That is the one thing I always try to make sure I don't do. Losing in battle, while ideal, it's not going to happen, and just making sure the number stays low is pretty much our goal. We have wasted 1 day and have not gathered any parts. Not exactly the greatest start to this. Although I will be fair and say that we did open up some clear pathways, and some of the parts should be a bit easier to access. So at least on day 3, I am being a bit more optimistic that we will at least try to get half of the parts that are scattered in this place. Just gotta hope that everything runs smoothly. So that's just gonna be our plan for next episode. So guys, thank you so much for watching today's video on our Pikmin day 2 journey. So as I said, to recap, wasn't the greatest day. We didn't get any ship parts, unfortunately. However, we did keep track, we did see some, and of course we did clear up some of the maps, so that way we can at least get them a bit easier when we come back for day 3. So on day 3 the goal is to at least get 1, but I do plan on trying to get at least half and clearing up some more, for that way when we come back the next time we will at least have enough parts to progress further and maybe find another location to get more parts. But for right now, we're just gonna have to go back, try again, and get some parts, and clear up as much as we can for day 3. But that'll be next time. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, when we come back for day 3 to hopefully grab our second and more consecutive parts, we will hopefully have a better trek than we did on this first day. So until then, I'll see you guys. Take care.